Hi, I'm Elaine Betts, and welcome once again to Shining from the Inside Out. Is there anyone out there who doesn't have a cell phone? Even young children carry cell phones. The senior citizens carry cell phones, and they're just a wonderful invention, especially smartphones. They are especially useful. But I still remember when I first got my very first smartphone. I admit that I am not technologically advanced as some people. And so I had my smartphone for a week. I was still playing around with it, and my son happened to pick it up and he said, "Mom, are you blind?" I said, "No, why?" He said, "The font, it's so big." I said, "Son, it came like that." And he just went, "Chick." So I learned something new, and it's still a family joke about how well mom maneuvers with her smartphone. But I like to learn new things, and I'm still constantly learning new things. At least I'm teachable, even if I make other people laugh. Um, so I find mine quite useful for looking up Bible references. Um, I know the word, but sometimes I can't always remember exactly where in which book it is. And so this helps me quite a bit. I can actually call people on my phone without dialing numbers. I just press that little telephone icon. And also, I'm reminded of appointments with physicians or for hair appointments. And please respond with a yes or a no via text. And so it really does make life quite easier for many of us. But it also has its downside. For one thing, as a former ER nurse, you don't want to text while driving because it can lead to an accident that could kill you or severely injure you or someone else. And I don't know about you, but if you just look around the next time you're stopped at a red light, the person driving in front of you usually has their head down like this, and sometimes when the light turns green, they don't take off because they're checking their cell phone out. And if you look in the rearview mirror, by the same token, the person behind you has their head all down, and they're just so busy with social media, texting, whatever, that they cannot wait until they get home. Or to even pull off the side of the road, which is more safe, to do those sorts of things. I heard a very disturbing report last week. It's not surprising to me from the line of work that I'm used to doing, but this is the youth of America have the highest suicide rate of anybody. It's an all-time high level. But yet they're the generation that is most connected with technology. But it's a false sense of connecting. I've been in restaurants, and it grieves my heart to see married people sitting there eating their dinner, and they're not saying one word to one another. They're just kind of looking around. And I feel like that's so sad because if they're doing that in a restaurant, they do that at home. They're just not communicating with one another. And by the same token, I've seen young people, I've seen a young girl and a young boy apparently out on a date, but they were sitting across from one another. Each one had their cell phones out. They were texting, they were laughing, they were sending each other things from across the table, but not once did, and they laughed, but not once did they look at one another and talk about anything than what they were finding on their cell phone. And I use a lot of smiling icons. When I text people on my cell phone. But you know what? A smiley icon never replaces a warm, genuine smile to someone face to face. I also use a lot of hug icons because I'm a hugger. And in fact, I'll tell my friends, catch a hug. But those icons do not make up for just a real good squeeze face to face with a friend or a family member. Jeremiah 18:12. I can find my glasses here. Has a very interesting scripture in it. It says, God is speaking to them. So turn from your evil ways, each one of you, and reform your ways and your actions. But they will reply, it's no use. We will continue with our own plans. Each of us will follow the stubbornness of his evil heart. Now, I have the NIV version of the Bible here, and it says we will continue with our own plans. But the King James Version has a different word. It's very interesting. It's devices. Don't we call these devices? These are our devices. Now, yes, they did not have cell phones back in biblical days. But if you take that word device, as used in Jeremiah, and you look it up in a concordance, it really means the same thing as idols. So the people are telling God, we're not going to put our idols away. We're not going to put our devices away. And in many cases, our devices, our cell phones, have become idols. And I can hear some of you already saying, oh, for goodness sakes, Elaine, I don't idolize my phone. Well, let me ask you a question. Have you ever left it at home and then realized after you were gone that you did leave it at home? I did that one time. I was halfway to work, and all of a sudden I realized that my phone was home, still on the charger, and I didn't have enough time to go home to pick it up, and I started to get really anxious. I thought, what if I have car trouble? What if there's an emergency and no one can reach me, or I can't reach them? What am I going to do? And the Lord has a sense of humor. He said, Elaine, did you have a cell phone 20 years ago? No, I didn't, Lord. He said, did you ever have car trouble? Yes. Did it turn out okay? Yes. Was there ever emergencies without your cell phone and yet you found out in time? Yes. He said, Elaine, you're going to be okay. And you know, I felt peace once again. And I have actually left my cell phone home, forgotten it, a few other times, but I had perfect peace through it. But if you find that, you are out and about and you don't have your cell phone with you and you start to feel really anxious, you just need to have a little chit chat with God about it, and maybe rethink how important it has become to you. Are you using your cell phone at times when you could be doing something more constructive? If you're sitting in an office somewhere and you're playing games or you're on social media, it's so much better if you just put it away and connect with the person beside you. They may be a complete stranger, but maybe they need some encouragement that day, or even just a smile for that. I think there's a reason sometimes why they call these cell phones, because sometimes we become imprisoned by them. Proverbs 131 says, we will eat of the fruit of our ways. We will reap what we sow, in other words. And that's true. We will reap what we sow. And if we sow into real face-to-face relationships with people, then and let Jesus within us shine forth, and you brighten someone's lives, you bring them joy or a bit of encouragement to their day. Isn't that more important than being on social media and texting all your friends and playing games? So these cell phones are wonderful things. I'm not about to give mine up unless I have to. But I'm just going to ask you to really evaluate the importance of a cell phone in your life, and to really make an effort to develop your one-on-one, face-to-face relationships with people. And not only with people, but to develop your relationship with God. So everybody have an awesome week, and know that you are loved by Jesus the Messiah. Bye.